All right. Greetings and welcome back once again. This is Amuna Yisrael, Soulonomics 101. Thank you for those who have joined us. For those who are just joining us for the first time, welcome to the channel. This is Amuna talking from a Soulonomics perspective. And every so often, I see something that comes up that is of interest to me for different reasons. And this particular one, again, I had to go do some research. So as I was at the Yummy today, I was listening, doing a little backstory, just testing out my theory of Soulonomics, right? So, again, in the common everyday news cycle, uh, we hear things of, celebrity and people and what did they do? And it's kind of like with the babies, I'm with the babies all day and this person did this and this person did that. And so this particular artist went to a game and wore a cutout, this black outfit here, and the behind of the outfit was cut out. Okay. And according to her narrative, the cheerleaders came over and asked her if it was okay for, they wanted to play her song. And she agreed, and she was so excited, according to what she said, that she jumped out of her chair and began to twerk. Now, she is known for twerking. I didn't know this. Let me tell you, the first time I really came into contact with who the person was I was on this TikTok. I learned about this TikTok thing, the little short video thing, and I was trying to make a little video for the juices that we make. And then I heard a song Juice, and the TikTok app only plays a very short snippet. So I was like, oh, Juice, okay. But I didn't know what the full song was about. Later on, I went and listened to the full song, and I was like, huh? So I saw a few things of the person, and I was like, this is, nah, I'm good, right? So then when this comes back along, I said, oh, okay, that's the person. And so I said, you know what? Why not? Here we say Soulonomics. I say I've been observing, going on my own healing journey for 20 plus years. Wrote the book Soulonomics. That's available on Amazon. Have talked about it. So I said, sometimes, every now and then, I like to just pluck somebody out and see if I can test my theory. Okay. So this is why this is called the truth behind why Lizzo showed her behind. On the surface, it looks like it's a publicity stunt, which many are saying. She releases a video. The next day, you get the media to talk about you. Why do people do these type of things? Because it pays. They say crime pays. It doesn't pay in the long run, but in the short run, you get to attain what it is that you are looking for. Okay. And so in the short run, if this young woman was looking for people to pay attention to her so that it will add value to her experience as an artist, then she's going to do that. And this is what she's done. And it worked because people are paying attention, but for the wrong reasons. As I was listening to some of these interviews, you have to listen with your ears open. And there's a saying that when people talk and they say, "Oh, I'm just joking," haha, not really. So you have to listen to what they think is a joke. So remember I said first response. So when I said it didn't start with you, which is a book that we have to continue going over, and I did, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? This type of it escapes me. I don't know what happens at night. At night, everything just flies out of my mind. But anywho, she's on this interview and they asked her a question, how do what do you think of your family? And the first thing that comes up out of her mouth is, I hate them. And then she goes, no, I'm joking, right? Frog says, there's a saying in the Caribbean that frog says, what is joke to you is dead to me, right? This is a conversation about, it's an Aesop's fable as well, about the person throwing stones at the frogs, X, Y, and Z. It comes from an Aesop fable. But the point is that when the more I listen to her speak, is the more what she's saying does not reflect in her behavior, right? And so I dialed back, and like I said, what is really behind this is, to what I am observing, is a from what she's displaying, is a level of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. What is cognitive dissonance? This is a Soulonomics session. This is for healing. We could talk about topical things, or we could talk about things that people allow themselves to be visual in the public, and we could choose to use these opportunities as teaching moments. Cognitive dissonance is the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change. I'll say that again. Cognitive dissonance is the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as related to behavioral decisions and change, attitude change. Okay. So from what I just off the rip, what I'm able to see of her is that she's suffering from cognitive dissonance. On one hand, this thought of being, I learned this phrase today, what positive body image, that I'm going to call, not me, her, call herself all manner of names, all manner of bees, all this. This is this quote positive body image thought process that's floating in the atmosphere, right? And I'm saying, oh, yes, and the people who are interviewing her, I'm like, am I in an altered reality? On one hand, you're calling yourself all of these names, calling yourself out these names to reaffirm how positive you are about who you are. Right. And then she's depressed. According, right, exactly. So when you're really listening, but when you're really listening to what the person is saying and the behavior that they're expressing, you will see beyond uh the facade. Okay. And what I find most troubling is the multitude of young children who are saying, I don't have to change. I can stay the way I am. I can give these very weird mixed signal affirmations. And that makes me feel better. Kind of reminds me of Monique when she was bigger, and she would uh, you know, but in the other direction, she would make it to seem like I'm big and I like it. This is not just talking about weight, this is also talking about mindset. And then years later, as she matures, she begins to say, you know what? I wasn't right in what I was doing. And what really bothers me is the way in which this mentality is being touted as being uh, positive. Now let's dial back. According to what the reporters are saying, what she's saying is that she grew up in a church. Okay, that's number one. This is why I say cognitive dissonance. So we're gonna look at, why would you be holding two conflicting thoughts at the same time, right? And it's going to show in your behavior. So you grow up in the church. You grew up in the church from a very young age. If you listen to her, she's always saying Jesus. She says she's church twerking. She says that she asked God or God or Jesus to bless her, and then Jesus blessed her so that she can twerk on stage. I just found that, like, I'm like, what are they teaching at church these days? But anyway, that's another story. So she grows up in the church. She's struggling from a very young age with body image, who she is, and acceptance. And according to the narrative, she's the last child. She's the baby child, from what I'm hearing. Because remember, it doesn't start with us. So when we read these things in a book, we can look and self-examine ourselves, and we can look into our environment to assess what we're hearing when people are talking, okay? And so, according to her, the flute selected her. If you look at the flute, it's a wind instrument. When she said that the teacher selected her to play the flute is a wind instrument. It has to do with your throat energy system, right? Or the energy from your throat. If you look at the energy in her throat or her speech, in this persona that she has concocted here, this particular persona, the throat energy system is wide open. Okay, it's wide open. There's no filter. Also, different instruments correlate with different parts of the body. right? So for instance, the drum make you feel like dancing. You hear drum beats, you're going to start moving. So it is with the piano, but the piano is actually the harpophone, harpsichord turned down. So that's a string instrument. You know what I mean? So different instruments affect you in different ways. So you see the instrument that she gravitates towards, which is a flute instrument. I mean, a wind instrument, which has to do with it not only influence, it has to do with wind, it has to do with air, and you see it in her movements. Okay, um, so you're from church, you couldn't sing, you learned to sing. Your father dies when you're 20. According to you, up until that point, you were doing this for him because he was pushing you and you were going to be trained as a classical pianist, and you were going to go along that line, and you didn't want to step out in the front because you weren't sure of yourself at that time. Okay? So your father passes at a very crucial point, and now here comes the conflict within the mind, because in one space I was, you know, I was encouraged to, and I don't know the relationship she had with her parents, right? So that I don't know. I'm just listening to what she has said. In one space, you're encouraged to go classical. That means you're refined. That means you're structured. You know what I'm saying? And you're doing it more than likely if your father's saying this is where you're getting your not your supply of approval from, right? This is where you may be getting, if someone says you're really good at playing the piano or you're really good at the flute and you want that approval from that person, then you're going to do your best. So that person, when they see you or they hear you, they say, oh man, you're improving. Yeah, that makes you feel good as a child. It builds your confidence. Okay. So when you're 20 now and you have restrictions on one end, you have church expectations, you have all of these things, and then the person who you may have been trying to win their approval is no longer there, you come to a point where you have to reassess why you're doing what you're doing. This is from, I'm just remixing what I heard her saying, right? And I'm saying, okay, when you come to this point, she says that she elected to be homeless. Because she wanted to hold on to her dream and her vision. So she goes to a point of really finding herself, or unlearning or unlayering all of the things that was layered on top of her. And this wild, out there, in your face, over the top personality is who she is. Personally, just observing, I don't think that's who the person is. This is offensive move, like going on the offense, so that you can intercept any level of rejection that you may feel in and around you. So before you say something wild and crazy, I'm gonna say something wild and crazy, so that I can remain in control of the conversation or in control of the situation. Now, if you don't accept the person's talent, which she didn't get to go fully to the direction that she wanted to initially go in being a classically trained pianist and not pianist, flutist in an orchestra and all those things. Now I'm going to have to find another way to get the acceptance that I need, right? And so if you're listening, you're like, this showing of the behind is just a symptom of the greater issue. But the people are like, yes, girl empowerment, yes, living your truth. I'm like, what, are we in some type of altered reality? This is why I said hashtag black girl stop. Yeah, I know I don't like the term black girl, but they say black girl magic. But no, hashtag black girl stop. Just stop. Because we're out here giving a misrepresentation, a false impression of what true healing looks like, of what true empowerment looks like, what true self-acceptance looks like. Calling yourself a B or whatever it is that you say, that's not true empowerment. That's internalized oppression, like I heard many years ago on YouTube. You know what I mean? Let me read some of these comments, and then and I'm going to tell you why it appears that the media is accepting of this. And it goes back to the, not saying she in particular is an angry black woman. I just wanted to talk about that this particular show and her behind situation. But in the research for angry black woman syndrome, if you don't know, you're new to the channel, years ago I went off into the deep end trying to understand the beginnings of this stereotype of the angry black woman. If you put it on a YouTube or whatever, you're gonna see me come up talking about it. And this sent me down the rabbit hole, y'all. Down the rabbit hole. Um, my sister says she has no friends. I would have never let my friend wear that. Is a setup. And actually, it appears that somebody was actually taking a video as she was walking. Like, exactly, who are your friends? Who are your friends? I'm just going to listen for now. Got to get into this food made. Yeah, who are your friends? Um, that I remember way back in the day, and then I'm gonna get into this angry black woman stuff. Okay. I remember way back in the day when I was in college, we used to go out, and they used to have this thing after the club called, we used to call it Club McDonald's because it was the only place open after the club. And I remember going in there, and this is where the thong business was all out. Drew her thong, and they jumping all around the place. And this girl has on the same thong, like kind of what she had on, but and then she was sitting down, and all of her underwear was up her back, and her behind was hanging out. You feel me? I'm confused as to how people don't understand when their behind is hanging out, but that's another story for another day. So the people I was with was laughing like, "Oh, her behind is hanging out, this, that, and the third." I felt compelled to go over there, tap her on the shoulder, and be like, "Excuse me, miss, your behind is hanging out." You know what I'm saying? You might want to go ahead and and straighten that up. So as you said, I'm confused as to who are your companions. Who's your compadre? Who told you, yeah, girl, this is a good idea? You know what you should do? Go outside with the whole backside of your ragil dress cut out. And then when your song comes on, start twerking because that's positive body image. Hashtag black girl, stop. Please stop. Please stop. Now, why most of what it appears to me based on the research, and I'm going to show you something that I came across yesterday based on the research, but why this is acceptable is not necessarily that well, I didn't watch the full of all her music videos, so I don't know. But the part that I did, so she wasn't necessarily acting like a quote angry black woman. But why this is acceptable is because a very long time ago, whether it be the angry black woman, whether it be the mammy personality, whether it be the Jezebel personality, uh, she was walking around with the whole joint like that too. Yes, I don't want to play the. Let me. I don't. The video is on YouTube. Somebody is videoing on their phone her walking down the corridor, and the entire backside, like the entire body piece, is hanging out. The entire thing. I just have questions, but I'm just gonna say hashtag Black Girl Stop, quote unquote. Um. So anyway, the this stereotype that is already firmly cemented in the minds of who is benign, who is harmless, who is reaffirming what we want the people to believe. That's who we're going to give stage. That's who we're going to give audience to. Because if it was about her talent, if it was about her being a talented flutist, if it was about all of that, then there would be no need for these levels of gimmicks. There would be no need for you to think that, oh, you know what, I'm having a song coming out tomorrow, and so what I should do is pull a PR stunt so they can talk about me, literally showing my behind. So therefore, we know that there's a mold that those who are backing her and those who are promoting this narrative, there's a mold that she needs to fit in order to to go along. And based on I saw one of the YouTubers played her Instagram where she's saying, she's crying about what happened when she lost her father and how she was homeless, and now look at my house. So supposedly this is all supposed to connect that, I guess I took the right path and now look at me. But what are you giving up along the way? What are we looking at? Right? What are you willing to do? And who are the people who are around you who are willing to allow you to do it? You see what I'm saying? So all of this stuff goes back to stereotype. It goes back to slavery. I haven't said that in a long time. If anybody knows me, I like to connect everything back to the trauma. You understand? And this trauma, this perception goes back to slavery, where I'm going to do these caricatures. The European is going to do these minstrel shows, and they're going to say this is what the image of the black woman is, so-called black woman, so-called black man, so-called black child. And anything outside of this image, we're not going to celebrate it. And so this is why everybody's like, well, Oscar's so white, or why do we always get the same reoccurring roles? Why? And it's because anything outside of the what has been set for you is not acceptable. And so therefore it's not going to be promoted. I came across this here because y'all know I like visuals. Hold on one second. I'm gonna pull up my screen for you guys. You're gonna be just stand still. Don't be easy, be easy, be easy. I got something for you. Cause I likes to where did it go? I likes to back up what I'm saying. And wait, I ain't gonna say no. Where's my thing at? Hold on, I'm not gonna be long tonight either. I don't think I am anyway. Here we go. How y'all doing tonight? Oh, well, wrong one, wrong one, wrong one. And also, as I'm looking for this thing, what's acceptable is entertainers. If you ever look at the faces of those who set the pace or the tone, what you can do is entertain me. You can make me laugh. You can fit in this box that I put you in. But once you start trying to come out and do other things that I have not prescribed for you, then that's going to be a problem. And that's what we're seeing here. She's entertaining. You go on the stage and you're playing your flute and twerking. Why do you feel that you need to twerk while playing your flute? Is playing your flute not enough? Did Beethoven play it, to play the piano and twerk? You know what I mean? Like, we have real questions. But let me go ahead and switch this screen real quick so we can watch something together. How about that? Not the browser. Yeah, the browser. I'm still getting the hang of this new YouTube jazz, so y'all know how it is. So the real problem for those who just join us, in my estimation, is a level of cognitive dissonance. She know what she's supposed to do, what she was raised to do, how she was raised to do. Boogie woogie, watch a woman give you a treat on every afternoon when the sessions begin. She knows that in the church this wouldn't be acceptable. You couldn't say that, this is what your father would be proud. Now, if she is looking for acceptance from her father, and he's no longer there, now this explains why she no longer has any boundaries, because the person who was setting this boundary, or the person from whom made it real for her, is no longer here. And you don't hardly hear her speak about her mother, but you do hear her speak about the tragic loss of her father. So that's something also to keep in mind. So, all right, let's go. Oh, now you can see it. All right. Okay, press pause. This is from 1941. Scrub Me Mama with a Boogie Beat. Okay? Remember we spoke about caricatures? I'm not trying to sneak this. I'm talking about the research and studies that I've done. We're talking about caricatures. We're talking about stereotypes. Hold on, let me pull this up for those who may be new too. I haven't done part 2 yet. It's just okay. This is the book, Angry Black Woman Syndrome Revisited, Volume 1, where I go in and speak of this. I published it back in 20. Wow, that long ago? Dang, my bad. 2015. Wow, 4 years ago. Okay, back in 2015. It's on Amazon. Okay, I've done a lot of videos about it. This is me talking about it. Here. So this is not me sneak dissing. This is my point. See, all of this. This is Me speaking about how here's how the media created the angry black woman image for the world to hate. This is back in 2015. Okay, the birth of the angry black woman. This is me talking about Ileana Van Zandt. My point is, uh, this is something that I really do study. That's my point. Okay, so now let's go back. Now tell me, okay, this is the person who makes you feel safe. This is the person who makes you feel warm. This is the person who transmits positive energy to those in the family and makes them rest assured. This is the image of the mammy within the house who is not she's benign. You know what I'm saying? Okay? So this is what is acceptable. Who this is Universal Presents. A melanated person didn't make this. This is coming from the mind of a European. Okay. Okay, remember, and I'm gonna put a little bit of ADOS discussion. Remember when I was talking about, well, who is the one who told you that your brother or your sister or your cousin was lazy? The first thing you see in this scene is somebody sitting in a melanated person sitting in. Oh, this is the second thing. Sitting in a wagon on cotton, what it looks like, and cocking up. That's my or relaxing, reclining, and being what they're calling lazy. This is what is being stereotyped into popular media. Okay. So when we come on to what others have already set the tone and what they say you are and what you are not, then people unknowingly adopt these thought processes. But I'll continue. Lazy town laundry. So remember, this is out of slavery and supposedly 1865, 75, 85, 95, not 05, 15, 25, 35. About 75 years later, okay, they're still reinforcing the fact that you didn't allow me to oppress and extract my labor from you. And so I'm going to disparage you with names. I'm going to disparage you with images. But at the same time, I'm going to laugh, and the laugh is going to be on you because it's at your expense. Over exaggerated characters. Would we say that the personality that is being accepted today from what Lizzo is from what she is sharing is an over exaggerated character, that this is something that she has to put on in order to entertain the masses? Because if so, that means that the soul, the true person inside, is will begin to wither away, let's just say. The expectation is we brought you here to work, and that's what you're going to do. We brought you here to pick cotton, and that's what you're going to do. We brought you here to entertain us, and that's what you're going to do. Come on down, there is a beat for you. I need you to be, I need you to, what's the word I'm looking for here? Make your entertainment sexual. This is why you see the little dancing moves. I need you to it's not enough for you to sing and play your little instruments. I need you to, what's the word I'm looking for here? Make and excite the crowd. Okay, what's this? I'm gonna put a pause right here. Hold on. Okay, we're gonna do the side by side now, if that's all right with y'all. Wait, I don't need the whole long thing. Let me see something. Is this it? Okay, here we go. This is the entire backside here. Okay, this is the outfit. This is the back of the outfit. Little children are at this game, elderly are at this game, whatever. This is, I don't know if this is a friend who's sitting next to her, not a very good friend. Hold on. Trying to find the one where, but it's not the first time here. Here's another one with minus the cutout behind, where you have, I'm trying to find it here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so let me cue it up. All right, let's look at this. What's acceptable? Who's making the video? What they're telling you is acceptable. Wait. How many years ago? So again, there's nothing new under the sun, y'all. I just wanted to do some side by sides and just talk briefly about the fact that she may be going through some real serious stuff at this point, and maybe under the oppression. What? Can I change this thing? Hmm. Let me get rid of this fake caption here. And maybe under the impression that because people are cheering for you and people are making you think that you're doing a good job, and they're not really necessarily respecting you for you, but for how you make them feel, because music, as we know, is a medium, okay, that transfers energy and can evoke emotions in people. You can do it with your voice, you can do it with song, you can do it with instruments. Okay. And so that is what is happening here. And because people are in this day and age are in a very low space, any light looks like positive light. Anything that doesn't look like utter darkness appears to be light. You know what I'm saying? But it's not necessarily the light that's going to help them heal and transform. It's going to help them to mask and to normalize the dysfunction that they may be experiencing in their life, and say, well, she said it's okay, and this is how she deals with it, and just call yourself a bad bee, or, you know what I mean? Do whatever it is that you have to do to mask your pain. Well, that's not going to get us to the resolution that we're necessarily looking for. So that's my 2 cents on the subject. The truth behind why Lizzo showed her behind is that she's experienced a bit of cognitive dissonance at this point. She knows the right thing, but the wrong thing gets her attention. And so she's going to continue to do the wrong thing as long as you continue to give her the attention that she seeks for the validation that she needs. So, with that said, prayerfully, you know, we were able to learn and grow from this. I'm not going to stay too long. Everybody have a blessed night. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave it in the box. Um, yeah, let me see if anybody said anything else. Nope. All right, then. I'll come back again and talk about more things of great importance. All right.